So I was telling you yesterday that some of the ad agencies just contacted me and they're like, I don't know what Metaverse is, but a lot of brands want to be a part of it. And that was crazy because मतलब मेरे को याद है I had read Tim Sweeney, the founder of Epic, उसका a tweet long time ago where he says that there was an era where every company wanted to create a website because that was cool. Then they moved on to creating a Facebook page or an Instagram page, and soon a day will come and they would want to have their presence in a virtual space like a metaverse. And I can already, and this tweet is by the way 2014, I think,
Hmm.
which is what 7 years ago. And 7 साल बाद it's actually happening. I mean,
Absolutely.
it's starting
I
to
mean,
happen. I won't say it's happening.
correct. So, like already, so many companies are creating different kinds of metaverses,
Mhm.
and now that the big giants have, taken the leap, now
Yeah.
it will reach to masses essentially, because
Huh.
तब तक लोगों को पता नहीं था इसका इम्पोर्टेंस क्या है, और इट्स लाइक वो एकदम स्टेल्थ मोड में अब तक जो है चीजें चल रही थी. इट
Yeah.
वाज नॉट कमिंग आउट इन द फ्रंट, बट
Yeah.
नाउ विद Facebook jumping in, Microsoft, Google,
Yeah. By the way,
Epic
did you
Games.
also see Microsoft ka news yesterday where they're saying
Yes,
कि Google Teams में they're integrating
yeah.
that
Microsoft
avatar
Teams
thing?
with the integrated
Yeah.
avatars. Yes.
Sorry, Google Teams कह रहा हूँ. Microsoft Teams where they're integrating that
हाँ.
avatar thing, which is really nice. I mean, every company is sort of starting their own version of the metaverse. वो कोई टीम्स में इंटीग्रेट कर रहा है, कोई फेसबुक पे कर रहा है, कोई किसी पे कर रहा है, which is a very very interesting thing. And
Correct, because it's essentially what it is. It's nothing different than our profile picture. Every
exactly,
damn app has a profile picture.
yeah,
And
yeah,
instead of that, we'll have a 3D avatar that we can customize, that can look like us, or we can look
true.
like someone else. Our imagination can run wild, and we can create however persona that we desire. So, yeah.
True.
So,
But I mean, coming back to that meta thing, though, the Zuckerberg showcase that happened, I was reading a lot of articles on it, and I also felt the same way. कि एक तो the dream that he showed is at least 10 years away. मतलब कि वो
yes,
किसी के साथ बैठा है, उसका hologram आ रहा है. Because for that,
I honestly wouldn't say it's 10 years away.
oh, okay. Because you would be better at telling me that because you guys are building something which is very similar to an AR glass, right? And
Yes.
yeah, you would be the how far are we in doing that? And when I say how far are we, I don't mean a glass that's connected to like a CPU unit. I mean a glass that is sort of like a self-sustained hardware. How far
Right.
away?
So essentially, the hardware also has its own journey. So when we started off, it was like this big giant hardware, okay,
Okay.
and the growth in this hardware or in technology in general is exponential.
Hmm.
It's not a linear growth.
Yeah.
So what's happening is, from we have decreased size from like this big to like a normal like Ray-Ban type glasses in
Mm-hmm.
over last 3-4 years. But now
Okay.
from going that glasses to this kind of a small glass
Yeah.
would only take 2 to 3 years more.
Okay.
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 And just, I would say, just in like 3 to 5 years, the hardware technology will be so sophisticated and self-sustainable that you won't need a PC to,
But can we
basically
do
like.
that? Can we fit in a supercomputer in a glass? Because that will be the biggest challenge, right?
So that's exactly the process that everyone is currently into. Every company that is making AR VR glasses is
Mm-hmm.
investing a lot of money in R&D and figuring out ways in which we can solve all the current challenges that we are facing in terms of putting the supercomputer in like this small pair of glass, right?
Yeah.
But it's a
Yeah.
journey that we have to take. So right now we are at a point where we are making these small size glasses that
Mm-hmm.
are powered by our mobile,
Hmm.
because
Got it.
currently we are in a phase where we cannot directly shift to glasses. The mobile is currently the
So if I'm
best device that
understanding
everyone
this
wants.
correctly, this is the one that's projecting the image, or rather the
Yes,
display unit, and the mobile is the thing that's rendering or the processing all the information.
absolutely. So
Okay.
basically, mobile acts as your kind of a battery and the computing,
Mhm.
but the glasses is just a display unit which projects all the apps, all
Okay.
like holograms and avatars and all the things that you see in a metaverse.
But tell
It's
me one
completely
thing,
display.
because that Facebook wala thing again, coming back to our discussion last time, we were discussing that to create the metaverse, you need different units, right? You need firstly a virtual world that I am doing, and Fortnite and Roblox, the giants are again doing. There is the hardware unit of this, which is like a PC console, and obviously VR that you are doing, and Oculus and Pico and other companies are also doing. And there is obviously the blockchain, crypto, NFT kind of payment layer that we require to build this. But one thing I've noticed with the Facebook news is a lot of companies are actually getting into VR as the primary entry point to the metaverse. And obviously, no
100%.
doubt about the fact that VR is the best way to experience the metaverse, right? But
Right.
the question is, this is a very India specific question. Can we have a VR glass that's 20,000 rupees? Because that is when it will take off, right?
Yes, we will have glass which cost 20 to 25K. In I would say over the coming 3 years, probably
Okay,
3 to 4 years.
what is an average? I'm not talking about what is an entry level cheapest VR glass cost or VR headset
So
cost?
so right now there are also in VR there are like different kinds of VR, right? So it's not just one VR, that everyone is making.
Hmm.
So even in the VR glasses, there are a lot of capabilities. So you can get like a cardboard VR for like what 2-3 thousand rupees, and you can also get high end VR, which is something that industry uses for over a lakh rupees, right?
Okay,
So
but when you say cardboard, it's the one जिसमें mobile अंदर चला जाता है and वो
हाँ
that
हाँ हाँ
becomes like a display unit, right?
yes, yes. So
Okay.
that's basically a small entry point into the large consumer sector where like anyone can have a VR experience basically
Hmm.
using their smartphone. But
Certainly.
the good ones, as you said, like the something that is not so basic and
Hmm.
something that is not so high end is what the majority of people will be using,
Yeah, yeah.
and that currently cost between like 35 to 50K 60K ke aspas. That is the range
How
that.
much does an Oculus Quest cost? Because that's an entry for Oculus, right?
Yes, so that's basically I guess around 37,000 or so, 37 thirty
Okay.
eight
And
thousand.
how much does a Rift cost?
uh Rift, I'm not really sure.
Okay, okay. ठीक है. So we'll probably just अभी online ही है, so I'll just probably search out कि Oculus Rift कितने का, because वो बहुत ज़रूरी है यार. And Oculus Rift pricing. One second. Oculus Rift to इंडिया में लॉन्च है 40,000. नहीं, Quest
Hmm.
40,000 है. Rift is not available in India
85.
at the moment. 85, 85, yes. I'm sorry, 85. And मुझे याद है I was मतलब watching the conference, the that Connect वाला Facebook का, and they said that they'll be coming out with a new VR glass which will be a high-end VR glass, and this will be a very small form factor वाला glass which will again be not just small but also very powerful.
Yes. So that's where actually all the hardware companies are, moving towards, because you cannot wear these giant headsets and wear it for long hours. It's
Yeah,
not possible.
yeah.
So we need to have very a VR or AR headset that is so small in size,
Hmm.
so lightweight that anyone can wear it for say at least 5 to 6 hours. Okay,
Oh,
that
5 to 6 hours.
is,
Okay.
yes, that's something that we have to do if we want the metaverse to evolve and get to the mature stage, because
Hmm.
eventually there is going to be a time where currently we are already spending a lot of time in our digital world, right? But
Hmm.
through these different screens, and
Yeah.
let's say we are 50% of time we are involved in our digital world, rest of the time we are like, involved in our physical world. So if you
Yeah.
just take your eyes away from any screen, you are in the physical, and if you look at any screen, you are in the digital. Right now that is the situation.
Yeah, yeah. But
But
what you're aiming at is amalgamating the two, where you don't know the difference between what is physical, what is digital, and you
exactly,
don't want to buy a LG TV, LG 65-inch TV. Don't buy, just buy a
nothing.
AR glass and have a 90-inch TV now, right?
100%. 200-inch TV.
Yeah, 200-inch TV. Yeah.
It's already there in our glasses, the Ajna X that we launched in
Okay.
August. So already you can see like a 200-inch big display right in front of you, where you can watch Netflix or surf
And
browser or do
how much
anything.
does it cost to buy one,
So right
or
now it
can we
costs.
buy one? Firstly.
It's not available for consumers per se. We are
Mm-hmm.
only operating in B2B, and it cost about 1.5 lakhs plus GST
Mm-hmm.
right
Okay.
now, and that is the only hardware. But then you have to plug it to your smartphone.
Okay.
Uh,
And do we also have something that plugs into your PC? Because now
yeah,
with
I mean the
PC.
same classes you can plug in into your PC also. It comes with a C-type cable
Okay.
essentially.
Okay. Okay.
You can plug it
Perfect.
in your laptop. You can plug it
But
in your
but
mobile.
is there a matlab, does the quality improve if you sort of plug into a PC?
It depends on like the kind of experience that you are running. First of all, uh,
Okay.
the mobile that I am talking about are the high end phones. Essentially, you cannot plug it into like any phone. So it
Okay.
has to have a processor that's more than 855 Snapdragon.
Okay. Okay. Which is, yeah, relatively high end. Yes.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
most OnePlus devices, latest OnePlus devices
correct.
or more, right?
Correct. So that kind of smartphone will basically cost you in the range of like 45 to 60K standard. अगर आप देखोगे
Hmm.
तो उससे
Got it.
ऊपर का कोई भी high end smartphone हो, it will work with it.
Hmm. Got it. Got it. Got it. And by the way, are you also checking out? Do you trade in crypto?
Yes.
Do you have you or had you invested in Mana?
No.
Okay, Mana is again Decentraland का currency, which is last time I checked it was मतलब जिस दिन से वो announcement आया उस दिन से 230% increase पे है.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it crashed सुबह आज सुबह I think it crashed a little, but more or less it's very stable. And I'm seeing two currencies taking off when it comes to metaverse. One is, I don't know if you've heard of Axie Infinity. Um, it's a
Yes.
NFT based
Yes.
game out of Vietnam, and they are doing great. Axie's crypto is doing great. Mana is doing great. And if you haven't checked out Decentraland, you should check out Decentraland.
I of course have checked out, and
The,
it's
you,
the only like metaverse that's like people are talking about a lot these
yeah,
days,
yeah, yeah. It's
and
truly.
so many people have started investing, buying lands
Yeah,
in Decentraland.
I just read a bit recently. One of the lands in the game got sold at 1 million, and
Yeah,
मतलब I am really shocked कि कोई बंदा ऐसा afford करना चाहता है land for 1 million bucks ऐसे digital उसमें platform पे जो exist नहीं करता real में. But that's the behavioral change you want, right, in life.
100%. Even today itself, I read the news that Amitabh Bachchan's NFT got sold for
Yeah.
over $500,000.
Yeah. And
And
Sunil Shetty, Jackie Shroff, Salman Khan, all of these guys are coming up with an NFT. But
exactly.
on that front, I would again want to sort of understand from you, NFT का logic क्या है? I mean, NFT for me, for somebody who seeks utility in things, NFT is useless for me, right?
Hmm.
Well, at the moment, I'm not saying NFT will be useless going forward as well, but right now, I don't want to have a collectible from Amitabh Bachchan or a Pierce Brosnan or Sean Connery, anybody, right? मुझे चाहिए ऐसा कुछ जिसको अगर मैं ओन करूं और इवन अज्यूमिंग 4 साल बाद बेचूं तो वो कुछ मेरे को फेच करके दे.
Right.
Do you see that happening with NFT?
Yes, absolutely. So it's basically like how we value art today, or how we value those cards, those uh, when we were kids, there were this
Hmm.
different Pokemon cards,
Yeah, yeah,
there were different WWE,
yeah,
WWF
yeah,
cards, right?
yes.
So now those are the things that people who have saved it
Huh.
for so long, so many years, like they must have been costing us what, like 50 rupees, 30
यार
rupees
बट
back in the time.
वो चीज ना, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल इंडिया में वो कल्चर ऑफ सेलिंग दैट पैक ऑफ कार्ड्स, या यूएस में वो एयर जॉर्डन्स वाला कल्चर है कि आपने
बहुत.
अगर स्नीकर्स रखा है आप उसे 10 साल बाद बेचोगे, इट कॉस्ट मतलब ह्यूमंगसली मोर. बट इंडिया में बिकॉज हमारा रोटी कपड़ा मकान वाला सीन है, एंड नॉट डिसरिस्पेक्टिंग आवर कंट्री, आई मीन
Yes, you're right.
फॉर अस मेरे को ऐसा लगता है कि वी आर द वंस हु शुड फर्स्टली अंडरस्टैंड द सिचुएशन, एंड our generation is the one who will make it better, and for that we need to call it out कि इंडिया में, and we were talking about this last time as well, कि यूएस में पहले आर्केड था, फिर पीसी था, फिर कंसोल था, फिर मोबाइल था. इंडिया में नो आर्केड, समवॉट पीसी, एंड देन मोबाइल. that's the
Yes.
shift that we did.
So
So
we
yeah,
definitely have a different culture, but if you look at it, the world is getting more and more connected by the time, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
what we are saying, that what is metaverse? It's also the mature form of internet, where so far we have been only processing 2D data,
mhm,
but now we are going to process 3D data.
yeah,
And it's like internet in itself is evolving with the concept of metaverse.
yeah, yeah.
So
Do you also see
so with
you
that
yourself
happening
spending 12 hours or rather 20 hours every day on the metaverse?
on the metaverse,
Yeah.
not right now obviously, but
No,
eventually
maybe
that is
5 years, 7 years from now. Do you see that?
10 years for sure.
Okay.
But see, that's the whole point. Right now, most of the companies, most of the giants
Hmm.
are working on attention economy, attention based economy, like
Yeah.
where the attention of user goes, the brands are present, and we are like the brands are only monetizing our attention right now.
Yeah.
Okay. The eventual uh, eventually what's going to happen is, all of us currently are spending, as I said earlier, that we are spending, let's say, 50% of time in front of the screen, be it
Hmm.
mobile, laptop, TV, anything.
Yeah.
But when the glasses will come down to this size, and you can see AR and VR both, let's say, from this
Hmm.
kind of a glasses,
Yeah.
right? You will be wearing it for the entire day, because it doesn't feel like these are different glasses. It's just that the same glasses are uh, eliminating all the screens and making the life, your digital life and physical life, so much more seamless and integrated, that you
Yeah.
don't want to take them off,
Yeah.
because this is going to be your gateway to your life,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
And I also
right,
think that matlab, when VR starts off and it picks off, I don't think PC will stop existing. I mean,
it will
PC will
not. It
exist.
will not. They
It,
will exist.
so the only thing that will happen probably, and this is me making the best guess I can at the moment, कि मेरे पीसी का मॉनिटर गायब हो जाएगा. पीसी सिर्फ कीबोर्ड के साथ आया करेंगे, where the monitor is the glass and keyboard is like the input unit to whatever you want to display on the glass, right? And
So right now, of course, keyboard input units are there. That's gonna stay.
hmm,
But think about it this way: like even if we have moved towards laptops and very slim displays in computer, there are still people who use that dabba computer,
true.
right? So it's not that wo gayab ho gaya.
Hmm, hmm.
There are, even if you are using the most sophisticated smartphones, there are still people who use that dabba phone.
Feature, yeah.
Yes, feature phone. So those things are going to stay. There is going to be a part of our population which is going to use the outdated technology because they don't want to change.
And that is the start of a new category of our discussion, which is how do you educate these guys? And one of the things that I have had problem explaining, especially to 45 plus 50 plus year olds, and I'll probably have a journey course here, and उसमें I go to somebody like my dad or my father-in-law, and I tell him कि पापा यार ऐसे एक दुनिया होगी where you can, this is a virtual world where you can do anything you want, you can shop, you can go to concerts, you can attend meetings, chat with people, do whatever you want. uh, and then I show them Loka that we are creating, or maybe Decentraland, and they look at it. It's nice, but the one question they keep asking me, वो सब ठीक है, करना क्या है? इसमें होता क्या है? अब करना क्या है? मैं कहा बाबा हर चीज ये चाय बनाने जैसा नहीं है कि आपको एंड में चीनी और चाय पत्ती दूध डाल के चाय मिल जाएगी एंड में, ऐसा नहीं होगा इसमें। हाँ, दिस इज मोर लाइक आप जैसे हर बार सीपी विद एन ऑब्जेक्टिव नहीं जाते ना कि यार आज सीपी जाऊंगा 15 मिनट में ये काम करूंगा, 17 मिनट में करूंगा, फिर मेट्रो लूंगा, गाड़ी लूंगा, वापस घर, ऐसा नहीं होता। एंड how do you educate people that this is not Candy Crush or PUBG where 99 लोगों को मार के वो आपको एक बंदा जिंदा होके आपको एंड में चिकन डिनर मिलता है? ये वैसा नहीं है। दिस इज मोर लाइक just come there, experience the world, do whatever you want and then leave, pretty much like life. How do you
Right.
educate them?
So right now, if you look at it, our digital world and physical world are separate.
हाँ
Okay, that's
हाँ
why this problem is coming.
हाँ
क्योंकि जैसे आपने बताया कि आपको लाइक आप कभी कभी ऐसे ही घूमने जाते हो, गार्डन में जाते हो,
हाँ
कुछ भी करना है, लाइक देयर इज नो एजेंडा, देयर आर टाइम्स व्हेन यू आर नॉट, व्हेन यू डोंट हैव एनी एजेंडा, एंड देयर आर टाइम्स व्हेन यू हैव स्पेसिफिक थिंग्स इन माइंड दैट यू नीड टू डू, राइट?
हम्म
And for those things, you basically have a tool to get it done. Either it's a digital tool which is
yeah
like, let's say Zomato से खाना order कर लिया, Amazon से कुछ shoes order कर लिए, you don't have to go out.
yeah
But then there are times when you want to go out to do certain tasks,
yeah
right? So either in both the cases you are anyway accomplishing something,
hmm
and by accomplishing I don't mean to get a task done in a physical way, but it can be also something that you want to feel relaxed, that's why you are
yeah
hanging out,
yeah
you are going to a garden, meditating, doing whatever you want, right?
yeah yeah
So right now, because the screens have created this differentiation. So I was saying that basically because of the screen,
yeah
our digital world is trapped inside the screens, which
yeah
is creating this separation. Okay,
yeah
and with time, when there is no separation between the physical and digital, you are living your life in the same exact way, but you are not really feeling that you are in a metaverse and you are going to a metaverse to do something. Like
yeah
metaverse is here, right here where you are. It's around us.
That's a very very interesting point and very good point क्योंकि one of the things that Matthew Wall also says when he quotes metaverse is firstly a persistent, which means it's always moving, always play button हमेशा दबा हुआ है, और
Exactly.
secondly it's consistent, मतलब वो हर जगह पे है और हर समय मूव हो रहा है, जैसे दुनिया इटसेल्फ, राइट? जस्ट बिकॉज मैं घर पे आ
Yes.
गया उसका मतलब ये नहीं कि नीचे काम नहीं हो रहा है, दुनिया नहीं चल रही है। इट्स जस्ट दैट मैं घर पे आ गया एंड देन आई प्रॉब्ली चूज टू गो बैक आउट एंड देन कम बैक अगेन, राइट? प्रीटी मच लाइक दैट।
Absolutely. So जैसे अभी हम देखते हैं कि there is this digital world and physical world, these are two separate layers right now.
या या
When they will merge seamlessly, like taking the finding the difference कि हाँ अभी मैं इंटरनेट पे हूँ, अभी मैं ऑनलाइन हूँ वर्सेस मैं ऑफलाइन हूँ, या
या
अभी
या
मैं फेसबुक पे हूँ, अभी मैं लाइक कुछ नहीं, मैं बस बुक रीड कर रहा हूँ. सो दोज थिंग्स आर गोइंग टू वैनिश एसेंशियली. देयर इज नॉट गोना बी एनी डिफरेंस बिटवीन द डिजिटल एंड द फिजिकल, एंड that's where all the companies, be it the metaverse companies or be it the hardware companies, are progressing towards that. We make the hardware in such a way that it doesn't feel that you are wearing something to go somewhere, like it's
या
just a part of your life. Okay, and
या
eventually we are not going to be wearing the hardware also.
Okay.
When we get to that stage,
Are we
when we get
thinking
to the
about like contact lenses that probably project stuff and stuff like that?
Sure. So contact lens is still something that you are wearing. Eventually, it's gonna be taking a
Uh,
shape where
it's
uh,
embedded in my brain.
yeah, brain using brain computer interface. You are just thinking and like things are happening. Of course, there is going to be some
Yeah.
device which will come that you are either like injecting something in your body or wearing something on your body. Like things will change. Like it's still we are not still in that stage to discuss what kind of that device will have, which will enable this. But eventually, after 15 years or so, 10-15 years, we will get to that stage where you don't even need to wear the glasses.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Got it.
There is one
And
very interesting thing that I want to share here. It's
yeah.
something I read recently on Twitter, I guess.
Okay.
So that guy has mentioned metaverse in a very interesting way. Okay.
Hmm.
So you must have heard of the singularity theory, right?
Yeah, I have. I have. Yes.
It's a point in time when artificial intelligence will become smarter than humans,
Yeah.
and that's when we are going to that point in time, that moment in time is called the singularity.
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so people are
That is where
researchers and
Terminator
all
begins.
the
The
visionary
movie
leaders.
Terminator starts. Right? So, yeah.
Yeah, so people are predicting that it will come by 2042, but it
Okay.
may happen sooner as well.
Okay.
Similarly, this guy has defined metaverse as, as a moment of time when our digital life is more valuable than our physical life. So for
Yeah.
example, we we have shifted our the work has already transitioned from factory to laptops. Our meetings have transitioned from boardrooms to this Zoom calls or Google Meet and stuff,
Yeah.
right? Our friends have transformed into our followers.
Hmm.
our our actual look, our look and like our actual look, our physical presence uh, is not as important as our digital presence today. Like
Yeah.
how you showcase yourself on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on any other platform has more value than how you what you are wearing and what you are doing in your house, right?
Yes, I
So
think that's a very good way to put it. Yes.
so slowly, all the physical things are losing its value, but the digital things are gaining more value in terms of daily transactions that we do in our lives,
Yeah.
right? So eventually, there is going to be a time like our avatars are more valuable than what
Oh,
who
true,
we
true
are and
that.
what
That's
we do
already
in.
in a more developed market that's already begun. I just read recently that there was a bag that got sold in on Roblox for I think $4,200, which was actually $800 than the cost of the actual Gucci bag sold in stores. So that's
Yes,
how things have. So
yes.
I also read that there's a lingo that kids in US schools use, which is, and this is a derogatory lingo, calling the other kid a default, which means
Okay.
you say you're a bloody default, which means that you've not bought any skins on Roblox and you're using the
Hmm.
default skins that the game gives you, which also sort of is
That's
demeaning in nature.
interesting.
Yeah. So that's already begun as we speak. Probably not in our country, but it's already begun.
Yes. So, of course, like I'm not, but I'm not telling the value of your avatars in this sense. This is more like, okay, you are buying like skins and like different
Hmm.
hats and different like um, virtual things like what we do in physically. Like you are buying chains, glasses, whatever. Have you like design yourself? Have you?
Yeah.
It's more about fashion in this
Yeah.
sense. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
but what I'm saying is, in even in terms of value, for example, the knowledge
Yeah.
that you have
Yeah.
will be transferred to your avatar.
Oh, that's amazing. And this is
Using,
something. Okay, got it. Please continue.
yes,
Yeah.
and basically using artificial intelligence, your avatar is going to be much more smarter than you over a period of time.
Okay, so on that front, one question, and this is something that so I keep whenever I'm thinking about something and some really crazy thought comes into my head, I keep writing that down and making notes of that. And one of the key pointers that again I've noted down and I read about it somewhere was um, the one of the epitome of what metaverse can be is immortality and and the way I sort of see it, and I wrote it down, and this is very close to my heart, which is to I always used to tell my mom and dad that you're never going to leave me. I will fix things, and I will keep you in this world forever. When I was a kid, and that thought probably stayed in my head. And while I was making Loka, one of the things I thought is if AI could merge with the metaverse and if I could probably replicate my mom and dad both physically and also their thought processes and the way they think, and I could bring their soul from their actual body and put it into a digital world, which is the metaverse, and make them live forever. And this is like my mom and dad becoming Siri, but with a physical body and with physical gestures, which replicates or which imitates how they actually behave in the real
Correct.
world.
That's very much the possibility where our lives are heading towards, right? And even like if you think about it, like of course they are like people are going to be immortal in digital sense, right?
Hmm.
But even after that, the concept of mortality um, in digital world would be kind of different. When I say that, I mean that right now, if if you die,
Yeah.
you are going to be forgotten in, let's say, few years, okay?
I
And
hope
that too,
not, but yes, yeah, I will be.
right now, if you die, let's say you 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, whatever,
Yeah.
people are going to forget you.
Yeah.
If someone like Steve Jobs died, people are going to be remember him for, let's say, 100 years, 200 years, 300 years, whatever.
Yeah.
If someone like Mughal or Rumi or that kind of Archimedes and those kind of
Yeah.
people die, they are like
NCRT
people
would
are going
never
to be
let
able
me
to
forget
remember
him.
memories.
Yeah.
So the amount of like that, it depends on like आपने कितना impact create किया है. Okay.
True.
Similarly, even in the digital world, when all of us are immortal, we have our avatars that can live on for ages,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
But even in that case, it will lose value over a period of time. The same
Yeah.
way. But it will
Wonderful. I think
it will be staying there. Let's say like your family and your like next generation will still archive that and show that okay, this is these are my like ancestors and they have done amazing things.
and uska next step would be these are my ancestors. Why don't you meet them?
Yeah.
That's like the amazing stuff, right? I mean, mujhe I remember writing the points down, and one of the things I did, I said I want to have a keynote speech about this, and that keynote speech I would sort of get hold of somebody who is terminally ill, who's going to die probably in 8 months, and map out their thought process in an AI and bring them onto the stage in front of their relatives and tell them that your this person has died, but they've not really died, and
Yeah.
they've just come here, and you just wear those glasses, and somebody's mother is just walking past or walking towards them, and she's actually died around 8 months back. That's what touches the soul, yeah.
100%, 100%. Like if we, and not in terms of just digital world, but also in terms of biotechnology. This
Yeah.
is the path where all the billionaires are investing in. Half can you remove the age factor,
Yeah.
and basically half can you like live in this body
Yeah.
for hundreds of years.
And one of the things I was again talking to somebody, and this is very interesting. Somebody just asked me this really weird question that I felt was really crazy then, but now when I think about it, it makes so much sense. Is this, they ask me, what is, how will metaverse, do you think metaverse will increase bullying? Do you think metaverse will increase terrorism? Do you think metaverse will increase digital harassment? And the real answer to this is yes. But it is like making the world's best rifle, right? Or the gun. The gun can be used for protection, the gun can also be used to kill people. It is
100%.
what you do with it.
So I would say that um, the way I see it, it's not gonna create any more difference than how it is today. Just the form of it will change.
But do you not think that because the metaverse has far better engagement than the internet at the moment?
Correct.
uh,
So that's the whole point, right? So let's say you are bullying someone
yeah,
right now on the internet, right? Or you are
yeah,
harassing someone. You are
yeah,
doing it through, let's say, text message, video call, whatever it is,
yeah,
right? So this is the medium that we are using.
yeah.
In the metaverse, you are going to be doing the same thing to the same people, but with your avatar in a 3D space.
हाँ, बट उसमें क्या है कि अभी जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल इफ लेट्स से आई एम बुलिंग यू, तो you and me are in a call and probably you will see me bully you and probably that will have an effect on you mentally, and that episode will pass. But when I do it probably in a CP kind of environment where let's say 50 more people can see you getting bullied by me, that's much more embarrassing, that puts much more scar in my head,
Right.
and that stays longer with me. And उसमें क्या है कि मुझे पता है कि मैं एक डिजिटल एवटार हूँ, मुझे असली में पुलिस आके यहाँ मारेगी तो है नहीं, तो यार मैं तो बुली कर ही सकता हूँ, यहाँ पे कोई शर्म की बात ही नहीं है। बट असली दुनिया में बंदा शर्म करता है बिकॉज socially he might get beaten if for harassing somebody
That's
else.
a that's a very good point actually, and that brings me to the next point, which is the metaverse will also have police. It will also have certain laws,
Yeah.
and of course they are not going to be like if you do something online, you are also like you are sent to jail offline.
Hmm.
There is a certain level of like cyber crime laws that are already there, and there is a bridge between what you do digitally and
Yeah.
what happens, the repercussions of that in the physical world, right? So
Yeah.
cyber crime is already there,
बट फिर अगर,
and
let me just put it
those
this way
things
कि
are just
अगर,
going to evolve.
let me just put it this way कि if I am sitting in Delhi doing this in London, मतलब एक London based metaverse या UK based company के metaverse में I'm doing this, then it becomes, अब obviously इस चीज के लिए तो मुझे extradite तो करोगे नहीं UK, and मेरे को वहाँ के कोर्ट पे तो ले जाओगे नहीं. It's so what I see here is कि वो जो interoperability सिर्फ ऐप में नहीं चाहिए, इंटरऑपरेबिलिटी सारे स्टैंडर्ड्स में चाहिए, गवर्नमेंट में, पॉलिसीज में, हर चीज में. इट हैज टू बी इंटरऑपरेबल वेर इन somebody who commits something wrong will have to pay in all metaverses, just like CIBIL score, कि if you fuck up your CIBIL score with one of the
Correct.
lenders, you get fucked up with all the other lenders in the country.
Exactly. So the concept of being universal
Yeah.
is going to take a great shape after like metaverse gets to the mature stage. That right now we feel that everyone is connected, everything like you can do online, all of that, but we are still, as we discussed earlier, that the internet itself is evolving with metaverse. So
Yeah.
eventually the kind of effects that it will have on our physical world is also something to look into, because let's just say that, let's say after 20 years, 30 years, when your avatar is more valuable, your avatar is doing more work than you are doing yourself physically, in a
Yeah.
world like that, what are you doing in the physical world when your avatar is more valuable doing more stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So in that case, the physical life is also going to be very different. The geopolitical aspect is going to transform drastically. The laws, the governance has to change with this digital change. because at the end there is not going to be much difference in the physical and the digital.
Yeah, true,
So
true.
we'll have to think of new ways to cope up with the new challenges that are going to come. As you said, that this interoperability, that you can be present, let's say you can be present in multiple countries at the same time.
Yeah, yeah.
Why is that not why is that not possible,
That is something that
right?
is interesting. I mean,
And
Modi ji would like to give probably have a rally in probably 5 locations at once, so that he could serve
yeah,
thousands of people at once. Right? That's the dream that a lot of people, especially public figures, would want to sort of indulge in. Right?
correct. So in that case, let's say someone is bullying or like doing any crime in multiple location at the same time. Like basically, this is a world that is completely different from what we are living today,
Hmm.
and the transition is going to be slow. It's not going to come in like 10 years, 20 years. The transition is going to be very slow. Okay.
But do
uh,
you think
but
कि
with
India could be a black swan in this case? क्योंकि मैंने देखा है कि at least with Indians you can never predict what will take off, what will not. And since we have a very strong users in terms of mobile and in terms of internet, in the sense that internet is one of the cheapest in the world, and phones are we are all WhatsApp almost 700 million smartphone users in our country. Do you see this? Do you see India as one of the first destinations that will adopt metaverse, or do you see India as the late mover in this case?
so I feel that the pace at which we have adopted previous technology
Hmm.
versus the pace at which we are going to adopt metaverse will be different. So the pace at which we'll adopt metaverse will be a
Yeah.
lot faster than what we have adopted previous technologies, because we have seen the difference.
Yes. Yes.
When the entire country moved to, let's say, physical to digital payments, we have seen how effective and better it is for everyone,
True. That's
right?
one
So
great example. Yes.
so similarly, when you have created your shop on Amazon or Shopify or
Hmm.
somewhere else, the businesses have seen that effect of being on the internet. They have
Yeah.
seen that uh, how their lives can be better if they adopt these new technologies. It is just a matter of affordability and the sophistication of the technology itself that is going to determine कि भाई कितना time जाएगा. मतलब it's like as you said कि भाई 25,000 तक कब आएगा ये.
Hmm.
So जब वो level पे आएगा तब तो लोग buy करेंगे.
Acha, tell me
So
one
it is
thing.
just a matter of
After that
time
Facebook
essentially.
news broke in, did you guys cheer internally, or did you guys say, "Oh my God, Facebook's entering our
Yes,
domain"?
yes, we cheer. We were so happy that these giants are taking the lead this way, because we don't have millions of dollars to promote
Yeah,
metaverse,
yeah, yeah.
right? So when these big companies are promoting metaverse, people are coming to us that okay, please explain, like what metaverse is, what is India doing, because we both of us are like small companies doing our bit in
Yeah,
transforming the nation, and taking the lead to get all these businesses into the new world that is in the process of creation, right?
true, true.
So India has a huge potential. Of course, the players in the industry are very few right now, but as the awareness increases, more and more people will
So
start
I'm
jumping,
assuming, I'm
in this.
predicting at least 100 more companies to sort of pop in the next 1 year, which will call themselves
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
either metaverse
100,
companies, or something that companies will call themselves as serving the metaverse.
100%, 100%. It is going to happen, and it's just again with any technology, it's whether you adopt it, get there fast, reap the benefits later, or you like lose the bus.
True that, and
So
everybody needs to.
I
One last question, and this is something that's important, and Joe, something that keeps sort of people keep asking me, and I have my own answer to this, but I would love to know your answer, which is how do brands fit into this?
So this is a really great question, and that's exactly what we are doing at Ajna Lens. So we are also building a B2B metaverse, which is specifically for businesses and brands.
Okay.
So how we see the future of work or the future of enterprises in metaverse is something like this. First of all, the way every company has a physical structure, physical building, physical assets, the same company will have the exact same thing in a digital world. So let's
Okay.
say we are people are buying different digital spaces, okay, or you are developing different cities, right? So
Okay,
physically जहाँ पे भी
one
वो
second
office
to
है मान लो
understand this
digitally भी.
better कि when you say digital उसका एक twin available होगा, what do you mean? An NFT जैसा digital twin, or do you mean like a digital costume of a Fab India kurta?
Sorry, what did you say, the
I,
second
I
part?
said, do you mean that this will exist as NFTs, or do you mean that this will exist as like a Fab India kurta of a virtual Fab India kurta or a virtual Van Hussein T-shirt or something like that? Do you mean that?
Yes, so actually both.
Okay.
The use cases are going to be different. So I'll tell you, let's go from the first line of thought, okay.
Okay.
That I wouldn't say NFT, but let's just call it a digital twin, that what is there physically will be, let's say, 3D scanned and created digitally,
Okay.
okay. In that case uh, where this is heading is, with the advancement in robotics, there are going to be physical robots on the manufacturing floor, okay,
Okay.
or whatever the company is into, right? There are operations, and the physical operations are going to be done by robots, and the person who is doing it physically right now is going to be sitting at home wearing their virtual reality headset and doing the exact same work he was doing on the physical world.
Okay.
So
Okay.
what happens there is, let's say that there is a there is a regulator, okay, and
Hmm.
I have to rotate it and set it to, let's say, certain temperature or certain speed or whatever it is.
Hmm.
So currently in the physical world, in the on the manufacturing floor, you are operating those machines like that,
Yeah.
okay. You are setting it up, and then the machine is doing its own thing. When you are sitting at home, there are going to be robots which will do the work for you. So your avatar has actually gone there to that machine and pressed that button or rotated the regulator, and the
Yeah.
exact same movement are going to be done by robots to millimeter accuracy.
Hmm. Got it.
So whatever you
बट
are
वो
doing
that
right
also
now in the
creates
physical
challenges
world.
for our country ना, मतलब अब बाकी के हम 1.3 बिलियन है, कैसे कहाँ कैसे होगा, how will every mouth be fed?
The jobs are going to be very different.
Yeah, that's
When
the
we
correct
get to
answer,
that
I guess.
stage,
Yeah.
these will not be the same jobs that people will do. The second thing is, what I personally feel and I'm rooting for is the concept of universal basic income is going to come
Hmm.
into picture
Hmm.
after a couple of decades, because
Yeah.
we will get to a stage as a humanity that we don't need to work anymore. The artificial intelligence, robots, all these technological advancements are going to do the work for us. We don't need to go and physically do something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when we
Got
get
it.
to that level of technological maturity, the universal basic income is going to come for sure.
Wonderful, yeah, wonderful. But my take on the brand front is, I mean, I'm thinking near future and not so far in the future. And I think that one of the key things that brands will do here is it's so I was meeting somebody recently, and they asked me, what are you building? Are you building a edtech, fintech? What are you building? तो मैं बोला सर, it's very hard to say what I'm building, especially now that you've said fintech and edtech. I think the good definition here is I'm building evtech. So he says, what's evtech? I said everything tech. And that's essentially what we are doing here, is because so the way to sort of understand this is, if there is a 100 acre plot, and one building is edtech, the other building is e-commerce, the other building is, let's say, fintech. We are not constructing buildings here. We are actually building a new land and taking those buildings away from the existing 1,000 acre land to our land. And our land is 10 times
Absolutely.
better and more fertile than the previous land, or even 100 times better.
Absolutely.
That's the best analogy to sort of
That
explain.
that's a really great answer.
Yeah.
And exactly when you said that second route, where you asked that, okay, is for brands, is it going to be like, um the like actual Fab India kurta will be a digital version of Fab India kurta? So if you look at it from that point of view, then it's basically, let's say, for uh, brands that are into commodity, or like that are into physical goods, consumer goods, right? So for that purpose, like, the
Yeah.
same thing that we are doing in the physical world will be done in the virtual world. जैसे कि already बहुत सारी fashion companies जो है, they are investing in building digital versions of their clothes.
Yes.
The
Yes.
fashion shows are happening in AR and VR right
Yeah.
now. It's
Yeah.
already happening,
Yeah.
right? The
Yeah.
customization and the experience of shopping has
Yeah.
already changed. People, there are going to be devices and ways in which you will be able to even feel the fabric,
Yeah,
feel the
I
digital fabric.
actually, that Facebook showreel also showcase one of these, that whenever you're touching that cloth also moves with your touch, and
Yes, it
and seeing
moves.
that.
So right now,
Yeah, please continue.
yes, so right now, the interaction between this digital and physical, as we said, that if that has to be seamless, all the five senses that we have
Exactly, I was
has to
exactly
have
coming to
some
that.
connection.
Yeah, yeah. And that is
Yes,
where one of
they
the key things we require, apart from an AR glass, is a haptic suit, which gives you the feel of touching something. And even if somebody sort of pushes you, nudges you, you should feel like they've nudged you. And that is
exactly.
what completes the cycle and gives you and actually teleports you from a physical world to a digital world, where you can not only see, smell, feel, and listen to whatever is happening.
Yes, like all the five senses are going to be seamlessly integrated in the digital world.
Yeah,
And
yes.
that's exactly when I say that you there won't be any difference between the physical and the digital. It will not be a case like you are going to do some work. You are already in it. And
Yeah.
it's just that how we go about living our life is going to be like drastically transformed. And this is the future that I am like super excited about. Of course, there
Yeah,
will be
I'm
challenges,
actually,
there will be new
yeah, true that.
that
I'm
we
actually
haven't like
counting
thought
on
of.
it. Yes.
Uh, yeah. So like mental health was something that nobody thought about before social media.
Yeah.
People were like कि हाँ यार ये क्या है, मतलब ऐसा
इन
कुछ नहीं होता है.
इंडिया में तो ऐसा होता है कि
Now that
इफ यू आर डिप्रेस्ड तो एक काम करो बेटा, हॉलीडे हुआ ठीक हो जाएगा.
हाँ. तो लाइक क्लिनिकल डिप्रेशन के केसेस जो है, मेंटल हेल्थ इश्यूज जो है, पीपल वर नॉट फेसिंग दिस काइंड ऑफ चैलेंजेस
True.
in the pre-internet era.
True.
And because of the internet, the social media, and the penetration of like smartphones and internet, these problems have increased a lot. Similarly, as you said, in when you feel when you feel something, let's say you have this suit, and your touch sense is also integrated. Someone punches you in the metaverse, and you will feel it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll
so
put my
so basically,
intensity to 1 out of 10, because I don't want to feel the punch, but yeah.
so yeah, like it's a very exciting place to be at, and see how this evolves.
Yeah,
And it's gonna be slow, it's gonna be challenging, but it's inevitable. Like
it's
it is going to
inevitable.
come
And
whether you agree or you disagree.
Yeah, and sort of it reminds me of again a Tim Sweeney quote where he says that there will it will transform from internet companies to internet companies and metaverse companies to eventually just metaverse companies. There will be no other. It's
Yes,
like saying online is equal to metaverse हो जाएगा at some point.
absolutely, absolutely. That is going to be the case.
The only problem the only regret I have is not sort of trademarking the name Metaverse before Facebook did. Varna, I would be already rich with that trademark registered to my name. But anyway, I will probably do something better with Loka. Yeah,
Yes, and you guys, like you guys are already doing so amazing job by replicating our actual India's digital places, and
yeah.
creating the
We're
virtual
trying to do, yes.
and creating the metaverse of those places. And I feel India is going to benefit a lot
Yeah,
from
we
Loka.
actually on that front, one of the things, especially because of my dad's and my father-in-law's insight, I and the insight was कि बेटा वो सब बढ़िया है करना क्या है is basically that keeps sort of floating in my head. And to sort of answer that question, I realized, and this is not just true for us, but for every country everywhere in the world, is that metaverse will not take off just like that. Just because you've built a great product doesn't mean people will start using it, right? So one of the things that
Yes,
needs to be done when the metaverse is being created, especially if you're creating a gamified metaverse, is you have to attach an objective with the metaverse first, and then let people come with that objective to your metaverse, and then probably let them experience what else do you have in the world, and let them now figure out
absolutely.
why they want to come back again. That's probably the approach that
Yes,
needs to be followed, and for that we currently are tweaking the system and are building an events arena in our system where real life events with artists or real players can actually come in there and play music or have shero shairi or something like that, which multiple people can witness concurrently and experience together and realize what an Indian metaverse will look like. This is like a 5% or 3% a glimpse of what this is not even a trailer, this is more like a teaser to what metaverse could be in India.
yes. That's a fantastic job. I mean, like, of course people need some entry point where they need to see and experience how this is going to benefit them, because not everyone is a visionary, not everyone can imagine, has the same imagination. And
Yeah,
uh, people
and
will also
it's
people
always
have
better
different
to.
perspective on everything, right?
True. Or वैसे भी I believe that and I also saw how and मेरा मेरा हमेशा एक logic है कि if you can explain it to the I won't call it the dumbest section of the population, but the least equipped to understand the topic, that part of the population, if you can explain it to, probably you can explain it to everybody else. But the good part in our case
100%.
is that in Indians, हमारा average age है 27 to 29, and most of us have played PUBG or have seen GTA or have played at least Super Mario in our lifetime. So we understand what an avatar is, what a NPC is, what moving is like in a virtual world, and that will sort of create, that will establish as an entry point to what we are building. And now tell them, boss, ये आपने GTA खेला, now we're making a different version of GTA but with Indian elements. And this is very important, and I believe that वो जो localization of the metaverse है ना, वो बहुत जरूरी है in our case. And
GTA
उसमें
पंजाब खेले हो?
oh, I have actually. I give this example to all the investors I talk to, and they say कि localization में क्या है, and I said localization में ही सब कुछ है boss. क्योंकि
सब कुछ है।
GTA पंजाब was just a Liberty City का mod जिसमें ड्राइवर सरदार होते थे और वो हिंदी में कुछ बोलता था और
ट्रक
डस्टी
चलाते
सा
थे।
रहता था। हाँ, तो वो एंड दैट सोल्ड लाइक हॉट केक्स। मेरे को याद है मैं वो सिर्फ मॉड के लिए स्पेसिफिकली जाके वो गेम लेके आया था अलग से। आई हैड
हाँ
लिबर्टी सिटी और मैं अलग से वो लेके आया था। एंड वैसी कॉल ऑफ ड्यूटी का एक हिमाचल प्रदेश का मैप है, एक छोटा सा अनचार्टेड
हाँ
टेरिटरीज का तमिलनाडु का मैप है। सो ऑल दीज गेम्स दैट हैव इंडियन कॉन्टेक्स्ट वो बहुत अच्छा बिकता है, क्योंकि इट अब
फॉर
मुझे ना
श्योर।
मुझे समझ नहीं आता जब एंड्रू सेंट पीटर्सबर्ग में गोली चला रहा है किसी बंदे को, इट्स ओके ठीक है, बट वही अगर
हाँ
एंड्रू आनंद हो और वो दिल्ली के नोएडा में किसी को चेस करता हुआ जा रहा है गली गलियों में, दैट सीम्स सो मच रिलेटेबल टू मी। That
यस।
is what I want to sort of replicate, and the next thing we're working on are gestures। मतलब कि अभी मैंने देखा कि गेम्स में जेस्चर होते हैं या डांस मूव्स होते हैं जिसमें वो सैल्यूट कर रहा है या वो ऐसे कर रहा है या कुछ ऐसे, some gesture they're doing, but we want
हम्म।
Indian gestures in the sense that namaste ho, or if you're
नमस्ते।
meeting somebody elder तो वो gesture पाँव छुए उनके, that is the kind of thing that you
हाँ
want, right? it seems it
yeah,
seems
that's going to
laughable,
be
but
so much
that's how
exciting.
it has to move, right? वो
Correct.
आपने,
And essentially, what we want is the in the metaverse, we want to do things that are not possible in the physical world. Like we want
yeah,
to do it, but our physical constraints are not allowing us to do it.
yes,
So that's why in this case, if you want to do something, like because you are aware of your own surroundings, your own country, it is
yeah,
something where you want to go, where you want to do something,
yeah,
and it just becomes much more accessible than ever
yeah,
before with
yes, yes,
metaverse.
yes.
So
One of the things is that again, as we talk about, so two principles on which we are building Loka is relevance and relatability.
lovely.
Relevance is because it's placed in an Indian location like a CP or a marine drive. And by the way, our next location that we are planning to build is Baga Beach in Goa.
Nice.
So hope that turns out well. And
We'll do
the
virtual party there in
yeah,
Goa.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I hope that everybody sort of who wants to Goa just goes to Goa virtually and then probably books the ticket after that.
Yes.
Yes, so that's
100%.
that's one aim, but let's see how that works out. But I surely believe that, because as you said, you made a very interesting point in the beginning where you said this is a war of attention, and everything related to what I am building, I don't call it metaverse, even though we are building the metaverse, but it is more like a leisure tech. So right now it's leisure tech because there's a differentiation between work and leisure. But once that becomes like a dotted line, then it's just tech,
Right.
because there is it's not for leisure, it's for everything.
Right. And actually, this is something that I was discussing with my team yesterday. Our founders, one of the founders was telling me this same thing, that currently, why we are so miserable, because
Hmm.
we create separation in everything.
Yeah.
Okay, we feel that this is me, this is me here, like with x number of people or x amount of people, or like you are someone else with some people, you are someone else with other people. um, you feel that okay, this is the time in which I will work, and it's not like there is something that you are chasing, like the end goal or a purpose
Mhm.
uh, that you have in life, versus you are like creating this separation that okay, in this time I cannot do work, in this time I cannot like talk to family or like chill with friends. So of course everything, like it's you who has to do the time management and priority setting and everything. But if we create too much separation, it is creating a lot of problems in our head.
Yeah, it
That
creates building walls.
yes, so for example, if you get a text message from work at 9 p.m., you will be like it just like messes with your head कि यार ये अभी क्यों message कर रहा है. But it's up
Hmm.
to you, like how you want to react to it.
Yeah, yeah,
So reacting to that in that situation is something that should be in your hand.
yeah, yeah,
Let people do whatever they are doing, right? But how you react to it should be in your control. So your
True.
emotions, your thoughts, right? Your physical body and mind, basically, your body and mind should be in your control and not in someone else's control.
True, true. And one very key point talking about this is, and this is something I was talking to, and somebody just raised this point, and I thought this was very interesting, which is people saying that if somebody is old and they want to have an avatar that looks younger, and they want to feel what it is to be like a 25-year-old again, or somebody who is, let's say, who's lived all their life in a tier 2 or a tier 3 city. They want to experience what it is to live in Delhi or Mumbai, or any metropolitan city, or even go abroad. And
Yes,
probably they know that they will never have a chance to do that in their lifetime, and
yes,
now they can do it just like that. That is the opportunity you want to create. Or even things
100%.
like somebody who is a part of the LGBTQ, who doesn't want to come out like that, or who wants to feel free, but he can't feel free because of various reasons, and they can do that in the metaverse. So that is what
100%.
the opportunity that the metaverse also beholds, apart from the multitude that it already has. So that
Yes,
is it. It allows you to be somebody you are. It also allows you to be somebody you're not, which is also very, very essential.
that's a really great point you mentioned.
Yeah.
And I feel that we are still just scratching the surface.
Yes.
It's going to
Yes.
be so much more deeper and more immersive and more evolved in ways we cannot imagine right now. It's like
True
we
that.
are talking about the internet and smartphones back in the late 90s.
Yeah.
And
True.
today, the version, like today, the life that we are living was not something that people, like not everyone could have imagined back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So
a lot of
that's
it, we
exactly
have
that.
to give a lot of credit to the internet to sort of bring us to this point.
Sorry.
I said that the reason why we are here and we seem a lot advanced, a lot of credit has to be given to internet as a whole to
Yes,
sort of bring us here.
absolutely. So if internet basically changed our life and transformed it so drastically that people have never thought about living this kind of life
Yeah.
back just 30 years ago or 20
Yeah.
years ago, right?
Yeah.
And today we are here. So it is right now the day one for metaverse, you can say,
Yeah.
right? And after 20, 30 years, how our lives will be is not something that we can figure out today, but it's definitely going, it's inevitable, and it's going to be so much more exciting than what we are doing, because
True.
with this metaverse and the advancement in technologies, we as human species are evolving and becoming more and more aware
Yeah, in fact,
about
we're trying
this.
to, with AI and metaverse sort of combining, this could be a diabolical combination, in the sense that we could evolve faster than we are. In the sense that
Absolutely,
we can create something
absolutely.
much smarter, much better than we can ever be as species, right? So, uh,
So that's exactly why Ajna Lens was started by these amazing three co-founders. The
yeah.
name Ajna itself is coming from the word Agya Chakra, the Ajna Chakra, the third eye.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Oh, wonderful, yeah.
So essentially, the spiritual underlying belief is that when people say that your third eye opens up or your Ajna Chakra gets activated, you get so many more powers as a human that you could never imagine. Like you can be teleported somewhere. What is going to happen in future, you can foresee it. You can be teleported anywhere. You can basically all the true fundamentals of life, and so many more things that one cannot even describe. Like I am not in a space to describe how it is, because I am not enlightened. But
Yeah.
the powers that you get when you are activated, when your Ajna Chakra is activated, is the point when you are living up to your true potential of being
Hmm.
human. Till then, we are just like living in ignorance. So same way, the vision of Ajna Lens is essentially to help people evolve at a much faster pace than using technology as just the assistance,
Yeah, yeah.
but actually helping the physical human being evolve so faster that
But
they can tap into their true potential.
that is very similar to how we named Loka, because essentially Loka has no English equivalent. So a lot of people call it dimension, but technically it's not dimension. Loka is different lok, in which different vibrations, different worlds in which different things function differently. Like
Yes,
Brahma stays in a certain lok, Vishnu vibrates at a certain lok, Shiv vibrates at a different lok. And all of these are different loks where time functions very differently, physics
yes,
functions very differently. And that is where we wanted to create a virtual world where things function very differently, but it's also interrelated to your current
100%.
look. So uh,
Yes, that's
that's
really,
very so.
yeah.
That's how we founded the name, and I'm glad we were supposed to name it Metaloka, but we didn't, because Zaki Bhai would have screwed us if we named it Metaloka. So
Hmm.
he's already trademarked the name, which I should have. But yeah, but that's very
But
interesting.
I
And
feel this is much better than Metaloka for sure.
yeah, yeah, I think Loka would be shorter. So yes, yes. So,
Yes.
but one thing I've again, which is very interesting to see is, and this is an article that I read, was some of the biggest companies like a Walmart or the ancient the old companies that we're talking about. Uh, those giants were actually beaten by the tech giants in the early 80s and the 90s, like a Facebook, or a Facebook is 2004 rather, like a Google or a Microsoft, Apple, and so on. uh, do you see Metaverse as also another tipping point where new companies will emerge and they will wipe out at least some of the old ones? And can that be an Indian
Yes.
company?
Yes. That is a possibility, given the fact that the tech giants are not agile enough to basically invest in the future and shape their company and uh, their style of working as per the future, right? So
Yeah,
uh, that's why, let's say, for example, Facebook has taken a huge step in rebranding the company, in changing the entire focus of the company from being a social media platform to being a metaverse. So even though Facebook is a huge company, they are still agile enough in their thinking to embrace the future and to be that catalyst to create this future. Similarly, if other giants don't uh, embrace this change, like so many of the companies that you are talking about, call it like DHL or Walmart and any other like giant companies, have already started some kind of experimentation with AR VR. Okay,
yeah, yeah,
that's what we are. That are the kind of companies that we are working with.
yeah.
That we help this large to even like small to large enterprises in transforming their operations, their training, their marketing and sales, and all these different functions to the next level. So
Yeah,
when companies are showing interest in changing the way of working and embracing the future, that is when you can see that okay, like they can sustain for a longer period in the future. But it all matter at the end of the day. What matters is the speed at which this change is happening, and are you able to cope up with that speed.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
And I had actually applied for an accelerator. I think in July this year. And without naming the accelerator, I would say that one of the feedback that they gave me, which sounds laughable now, is I think metaverse will not take off as much as you think it will. And I don't think there will be any big players who will come into this space anytime soon, because it's not a interesting enough space. And that seems, and I'm sorry that Facebook had to do this to you, but I mean, I'm glad Facebook entered the domain and proved a lot of people wrong, because metaverse, as I remember, metaverse being my favorite topic in college, and I used to talk about metaverse back in 2010 when I read Neil Stephenson's Snow Crash. But
Yes.
and people would be like, "भाई ये GTA है, इसमें क्या खास है?" But
Ha.
the fact is, if GTA was built on your life, then it would be khas, right? If GTA was life, then that
Correct.
would be khas. And
Correct. Correct. Correct.
ending this on one note, which is your entry point to the metaverse? What is your entry point to the metaverse? What was the first thing you remember in your memory that now when you recollect makes you feel that, wow, this was the metaverse?
When I basically thought about metaverse, you
Yeah,
mean to say?
or when you saw something that a content or some a piece of article that sort of, for me it was just a snow crash for me, or it was Johnny Quest, which was a cartoon that I used to watch when I was growing up. That was the first entry point. That was the first thing that sort of introduced me to a concept that's similar to the metaverse.
Got it. So honestly, for me, I I got to uh, I was interested. I was introduced to the word metaverse um, just just when I joined the company Ajna Lens.
Okay.
Uh, because before that, I had like no background in technology. I was doing very different things in life, and I am lucky enough to get to this space in the right time. And and now that what I'm excited for is the future
Yeah.
that I'm able to envision with the help of the founders, the smartest people that are one of the smartest people that are working in India and building this metaverse. And I feel very lucky to be working with them. And that's when I can see that where exactly this is headed. Because earlier, even if I had thought about it, like people laughed at you saying, "Yeah, yaar, ye kya bol raha hai? Matlab, it's not possible." But now I'm building the same thing with people who have envisioned that, but also practically they can see how it can be built.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So so that's a great space where I am today, and I feel very grateful and lucky to be in this space.
Oh, don't feel too grateful. You have to feel much more grateful, because we were still starting off, and I think everybody is doing a great job with creating the Indian version of the metaverse. And we require not just these 20 people; we require probably 1,000 more to actually build the metaverse out. And
100%.
I hope this 10 years is India's 10 years, and this after this decade we have a not just an Indian decacon, we have a Indian company who is treated as the leader when it comes to metaverse. Let's hope we work towards
Absolutely.
that.
For sure, for sure. Super excited for India and the
Yeah,
coming times that are. It's essentially India's time. It's already started, right?
yeah,
The digitalization and all the new policies that you see today, Skill India, and so many more things are already in space. And even we are working closely with the government, as you know,
yeah,
in defense, and
yeah.
also we
And
have started.
that's great, by the way. That's one of the best areas to start off, which is the Indian Army, which will give you the best feedback for your hardware.
Absolutely, because when you have to build something for the army, it goes through so many crucial tests
Yeah,
because the ground reality is very different
yeah,
for military,
yeah,
and we are having so much fun with it in a sense where we have so many new challenges to overcome,
yeah,
and when we start embracing those challenges and work on it, we are up like leveling up to like a very next level, which is not required even for like consumer version.
Yeah, yeah,
So when we can like build that kind of a hardware, and the softwares that goes with it, it gives us a lot more experience, uh, and basically it enables like a lot of possibilities, opens up a lot of possibilities for us in terms of how to create a hardware in such a way that is basically very affordable
yeah,
and comfortable for a like normal average consumer, you know
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and that's where we, on the other hand, we are using the same R&D that we are doing in defense, and using it to also build the latest version of VR glasses. That's something which is way advanced, and the most lightweight VR headset that's like ever built. So that's
Wonderful.
yes, so that's exactly what we are chasing, and we hope we introduce that to the world very soon.
Yeah, and I hope that there's synergy between Loka and Ajna Lens as well. And probably as soon as we are compatible, we would love to sort of use